Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel F1 Racing, as we are back with another exciting video from the world of Formula 1. So get ready race fans, because the world of Formula 1 is about to be shaken up once again. Word on the track is that Russell has just leaked some big changes in W14, and Mercedes is ready to take on their competition like never before. With their eyes set on overcoming the gap to win, Mercedes is pulling out all the stops to make their car the fastest and most agile on the circuit. So what can we expect from these changes? Will Mercedes rise to the top once again? Or will their competitors prove to be too much to handle? So buckle up and get ready for an adrenaline-fueled ride, because the 2023 season of Formula 1 is about to be one for the history books. Now, let's start. Before we dive into the upgrade news, let's go back and see why Mercedes struggled with its previous car model, W13, and why it has not performed up to the mark this season, as well with an upgrade to W14. So, let's check this out. The first half of the 2023 Formula 1 season has been a challenging one for Mercedes thus far. After the first race in Bahrain, it was clear that their car was not performing as well as their competitors' cars, as Lewis Hamilton finished 5th and his teammate George Russell finished 7th. This was evident after the race. This was a far cry from the supremacy that Mercedes had demonstrated over the course of the preceding 8 seasons, during which they won the Constructors' crowns each and every year. In fact, throughout that period, the team had won the first 7 Drivers' Championships, 6 of which were won by Lewis Hamilton and 1 by Nico Rosberg. Despite the competition that Red Bull posed in 2021, the introduction of radical new design restrictions for 2022, which made it possible to reorder the previously established pecking order, offered Mercedes the potential to reclaim its position as a dominant team. On the other hand, Mercedes was a team that suffered the most from porpoising due to the new restrictions, because they were caught off guard by them. The bouncing phenomenon, known as porpoising, was an unanticipated side effect of how the cars for the 2022 season were designed per the new regulations. Mercedes' problems were the most serious of those experienced by any team, and they had a significant influence not just on the overall performance of their W13, but also on the level of comfort experienced by its drivers. Before Russell delivered an inspiring victory at the last race of the season in Brazil, Mercedes gradually improved their car, frequently outperforming Ferrari and coming close to victory on many occasions. However, it wasn't until the race in Brazil that Russell finally delivered the victory. The victory gave the squad and their fans a reason to be optimistic about their chances of returning to title contention in 2023. On the other hand, it would appear that Mercedes' somewhat improved performance over the second half of the season was the worst thing that could have happened to the team at this point in time. It persuaded them to continue working with their much discussed zero side pod notion. This has resulted in a demoralizing start to the 2023 season for Mercedes, as they have been unable to construct a car that can compete for the crown. It is arguable that Mercedes' aerodynamics department did not need to be the best for them to maintain their dominant position from 2014 to 2021, because their success was based on the fact that they had the best engine. Even while it would be unfair to imply that their extremely gifted designers and engineers are not up to pace, it is reasonable to wonder whether or not they have somebody who can compete with Adrian Newey, who is the Chief Technological Officer for Red Bull. However, it is possible that the team's difficulties can be attributed to the departure of important professionals during the past few years. For example, engine manager Andy Cow and chief aerodynamicist Eric Blandon are no longer with the organization. Following the sport's engine freeze in 2022, which will remain in place until the end of 2025, another probable explanation for Mercedes' misfires is that their engine is no longer the most powerful. Since then, Ferrari and Red Bull have appeared to have greater power than Mercedes, which may explain why Mercedes has been experiencing misfires. Mercedes appeared to build an engine that was extremely reliable right from the start, but other teams like Ferrari may have opted for a more aggressive strategy of producing a higher performing engine that they could later make more trustworthy. Mercedes appeared to produce an engine that was highly reliable right from the start. At the beginning of the 2023 season, the optimistic noises that had been flowing from the Mercedes camp throughout the off-season were swiftly replaced with pessimistic comments. while Hamilton appeared to criticize his team for failing to listen to his recommendations on car design, team principal Toto Wolff called the Bahrain Grand Prix one of the worst days in racing. Hamilton finished second in the race. In addition to this, Mercedes was unable to compete with the defending Constructors' champions Red Bull and came in third place behind Fernando Alonso's Aston Martin and Carlos Sainz's Ferrari. In conclusion, Mercedes has not done well in the 2023 season since they were caught off guard by the new design restrictions in 2022, which led their car to suffer from porpoising more than any other team's cars. This resulted in Mercedes having the worst performance of any other team. During the second half of the 2022 season, they were unable to enhance their vehicle, but they made the mistake of keeping their zero side focus entirely on performance rather than on dependability, which might have led to a less competitive engine. Alterations made to the management structure of the Mercedes team are another aspect that can be to blame for the squad's current predicament. Toto Wolff, who had served as the team principal for Mercedes since 2013, resigned from his position at the end of 2022 season in order to assume his new position as Chief Executive Officer of Mercedes-Benz Grand Prix Limited. James Allison, who had served in the same role before, was promoted to take his position as the new technical director. It is possible that the change in leadership resulted in a shift in priorities or a different approach to the development of the vehicle, both of which have affected the team's performance. Despite the fact that Mercedes has had a difficult start to the 2023 season, the race year is still young, and there is still a lot of time for the team to turn things around. The group has a proven track record of overcoming adversity and identifying new avenues via which they can compete successfully. Lewis Hamilton is still considered to be one of the top drivers in the sport, and they have a talented crew of designers and engineers working for them. It is uncertain at this point whether Mercedes will be able to overcome their bad start and mount a serious campaign for the title in 2023 by doing some modifications or changes either in the car or planning. However, one thing is abundantly clear. The once dominant team is about to enter a new era of competitiveness and will need to adapt to the changing landscape of Formula One if they wish to reclaim its previous glory. So now let's see what Russell has to say about chasing their competitors and about the car and its future. In a recent interview, George Russell gave some more insight into the development of the Mercedes W14 Challenger. He explained that the team is working really hard on sweeping car changes to get back to winning ways. From 2014 until 2021, Mercedes dominated the sport, winning 8 consecutive constructors' titles when Red Bull finally broke the streak in the previous season. They fell to the bottom of the hierarchy as they tried to adjust to the new ground effect rules. This year's campaign started in a similar way, with Red Bulls, Ferraris, and Fernando Alonso's Aston Martin out-qualifying the Mercedes drivers while qualifying for the Bahrain opener. Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff confirmed pre-season rumours by saying the organisation was on a dead-end street with its current development strategy. As a result, a conceptual shift is currently in the planning stages. This means that a concept change is now in the works behind the scenes. When asked about the coverage of Mercedes' form so far and his take on the state of the W14, Russell made it clear that the Brackley operation is working flat out to get back to winning ways. Russell said, I don't read what's being said in the news all the time, but we're here to win. We're here to fight for victories and for the championship, and clearly we're not in a position to do that at the moment. But big changes are incoming. Naturally, you can't get things brought that quickly to the car, but I think in due course we'll see some big changes, and hopefully the lap times represent that. When asked if he has tried the changes on the Mercedes simulator, Russell replied, we're working really hard at the moment with these changes. I won't give too much away, and we need to make sure they work as expected. But as we've said a number of times, we're probably finding more gains in the past 2 or 3 weeks than we found over the whole winter by clearly developing in the wrong window. So it's definitely heading in the right direction. Mercedes improved from their disappointing displays in Bahrain and Saudi Arabia to finish the season strongly in Australia. Lewis Hamilton finished second to Red Bull's Max Verstappen, strengthening Mercedes' grasp on third position in the constructors' standings. Following a DNF at Albert Park due to a mechanical issue, Hamilton is currently in 4th place in the driver's standings, while Russell has fallen to 7th place as a result. Russell's words suggest that Mercedes is enthusiastic about their chances of returning to the top of the podium, although it remains to be seen how effective the upgrades will be for Mercedes. So let's see and conclude which changes Mercedes is bringing up this season in upcoming races. George Russell has dropped hints that the Mercedes W14 race vehicle will receive some big changes for the 2023 Formula 1 season. According to a guide that was made available by the crew, they are currently working on a concept alteration for the car, which does not merely involve putting typical side pods to it. In the manual, Mercedes states that 3 essential technical components determine the performance of a vehicle: the tyres, the power unit, and the aerodynamics, and that the aerodynamics are the component that most significantly differentiates itself from the other two. They go on to explain that the front wing is the most important part of an aerodynamic package, since it is part of the car that is exposed to the air first while it travels through the atmosphere. On the other hand, the part of the vehicle that generates the most downforce, which is the floor, is not visible to the driver. The team has stated that they would put more effort into the aerodynamics of the vehicle and will concentrate on improving performance in the areas that are of the utmost relevance. Even though the side pods are not the primary factor that makes a difference, the other bodywork components still do, as they affect how the downforce is distributed across the car and how it is generated from the floor. The team has already abandoned their previous strategy with the W14 and will be making modifications to the car's layout in preparation for Imola. So guys, as was talked about in today's video, the next modifications that will be made to the Mercedes W14 are going to represent a significant turning point for the team during the 2023 Formula 1 season. The present design of the team's side pods has garnered the attention of many fans, but Mercedes has stated that the front wing and the floor of the vehicle are the 2 components that create the most significant difference in terms of the car's aerodynamics. This is something that many fans have noticed. So it would be interesting to see how the team handles these changes, and it will be interesting to see if they can catch up to the dominant Red Bull team. But Mercedes isn't the only narrative worth following in the world of Formula 1 this season. There are plenty of other plots to keep an eye on. Max Verstappen, who drives for Red Bull, has won all 3 races, giving him an early lead in the Drivers' Championship. Verstappen has been in brilliant form so far. Is it possible for him to keep up this level of performance and win the title this season? Or can Lewis Hamilton catch him and defeat him? Do tell us your opinion on this matter in the comments section below. In the meantime, the fans have been excited to see Fernando Alonso back behind the wheel of an Aston Martin. The 2-time world champion has already shown glimpses of his previous level of brilliance in the first few races of the season. And then there is the ongoing competition between Ferrari and McLaren for the coveted 3rd spot in the Constructors' Championship. The fight has been going on for quite some time. The next Formula 1 racing season of 2023 is shaping up to be one of the most thrilling in recent memory, thanks to the abundance of intriguing storylines and intense competition that will take place on the track. As spectators, all we can do is sit back and take in the action as it happens. So if you have liked this video, please hit that like button to show your support. Also share this video with your fellow F1 fans, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. You can hit that bell icon to receive notifications about our latest uploads so that you don't miss out on any latest updates and news from the world of Formula 1. Anyways, we will be back with another exciting video soon. Until then, take care and bye bye.